1, 2, 3, 4. Mike and John got it going on. Mike and John got it going on.
Look who's here. Look who showed up.
I know.
Look
thanks.
who finally showed up.
It's about time.
It is about time, John.
Waiting.
It's Mike and John got it going on. We are coming to you from the Remax Platinum Studios in Brighton, courtesy of our friend Jordan Genso. And of course, Susan is back here with Mike and John, and a lot to cover today.
Yes.
Yeah.
See, it's like he's not even here again. Yeah, so we'll cover the latest in local news for this past week. Also, we'll get to our trivia answers. Rich Perlberg checking in with the less you know. And what are we talking about today? We don't even know.
I sent you the information, but
I would have had to have read
I'm
that,
sure
John,
you would have
to know.
had to have read what I sent you.
I know what we're doing.
You're prepared as always.
I know it is.
Do tell.
I
Look
do.
at that.
All right.
Showing off.
Mike Rogers.
Mike Rogers. Mr. Rogers, we like to call him.
We're talking about
He
Mr.
used to be
Rogers.
in the neighborhood.
He wants to have a new neighborhood.
You know, he should wear a sweater. That might help. All right, we'll get to that in just a little while. Also, the latest local news brought to you by our friends. It's Cooper and Binkley Jewelers in downtown Brighton. If you are looking for custom design jewelry, like to get your jewelry appraised, they'll do that too. They'll clean your jewelry. Stop and see our friends at Cooper and Binkley Jewelers in downtown Brighton. The latest designs from Simon G. and Zagani, and of course, custom design jewelry. If you're thinking of popping that question, they're the ones to see. See Barb and Mark at Cooper and Binkley Jewelers in downtown Brighton. Let's take a look at what's making headlines this week here in Livingston County.
All right, some pretty big stories. Actually, one that is new this morning at MikeandJohnPodcast.com. Federal education officials say they're investigating a pair of complaints filed by the mother of two students in the Heartland Consolidated Schools District. The first complaint alleges that her son was discriminated against based on his disability, accusing school board members of creating a hostile environment by their public comments. The second complaint alleges her daughter was sexually harassed and also discriminated against because she has a disability as well. Now, those derogatory comments referred to likely relate to a podcast that two of the school board members appeared on back in February, and they were talking about issues involving special education students in the Heartland District, and they made some very derogatory comments in general, but pertaining to the situation involving this woman's son. As for her daughter, she said that schoolmates learned that she has two moms. The mother is in a same-sex marriage, and so that then became a focus of harassment and teasing, and said the district really did not do much to alleviate that. She said her daughter eventually ended up having to eat her lunch alone in a special education classroom because she just did not want to deal with the harassment, and then also eventually missed out on things like the spring lock-in, the end-of-year field trip, and the last day of school. So the complaint has been turned over to the Department of Education's Office of Civil Rights. They responded in the last week and said that they are going to investigate both of those complaints. We did ask a comment from Heartland Superintendent Chuck Hughes, and he said it's still very early in the process, and so that was not something that he was going to be willing to comment on at this time. Meanwhile, the mother says that due to the environment in the Heartland Consolidated School District, she and her family have decided to move out of Livingston County and out of the district specifically, but those complaints remain and they will be investigated. Meanwhile, police are investigating racist, homophobic, and transphobic messages that were spray painted in the parking lot of a local school. Livingston County Sheriff's Office said at about 7 a.m. Monday, deputies responded to the FlexTech High School campus in Genoa Township for a destruction of property and arson complaint. Employees of the school reported to work about 4:15 that morning and located multiple instances of damage from spray paint on the parking lot and nearby structures. Included was a spray-painted swastika. A statement from the school said security cameras showed 2 individuals arriving in the parking lot about 3:30 that morning and said that they appeared to have burned a pride flag and then went about with the graffiti. The Livingston County Diversity Council has condemned the actions of those who vandalized with the hate speech of the parking lot at FlexTech High School. Also, 7th District Congresswoman Elissa Slotkin saying this is not how students should be starting a new school year. Now, interestingly enough, the students themselves responded in a positive manner, and that's actually what we're going to be talking about with our first guest coming up here in just a few minutes.
And of course, news brought to you by Cooper and Binkley Jewelers in downtown Brighton. Stop and see them today for the latest designs from Simon G, Zagani, and many others. Plus, they can custom design jewelry for you. If you have an older piece of jewelry, maybe an antique that's been laying around, something you're not using or wearing, they can redesign that and custom design something especially for you. That's Cooper and Binkley Jewelers in downtown Brighton. And as John mentioned in one of our lead stories here, the event at FlexTech High School, starting off the school year in not such a great way. And our guest joining us this morning, Keith Jones, who's a FlexTech High School social studies instructor, and Katy Urban, school social worker from FlexTech. Thanks for joining us.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you so much for being here. So, Keith, let's start with you. When this incident occurred on Monday morning, I mean, so students, as they arrived and that was the first day of classes, correct?
Correct, yeah.
Yeah. So when they arrived, they saw this very hateful graffiti in the parking lot.
Yeah, it was very obvious, although I was quite surprised that some students didn't see it as they walked in early in the morning because they were just focused on the front door and not the parking lot. But yeah, very hateful speech all around the parking lot. Yeah, terrible day to start the day.
In the initial reports, it was teachers arriving very early, and some people were questioning that on social media about how early this supposedly the instructors were walking in. And we're talking 4 a.m., between 4 and 5 a.m.
That's our custodian.
Okay. Well, he's got to get stuff ready, right?
Right there, where he must have just missed him. He said the flag was still burning when he got there, so
right.
He must have just missed him.
I mean, and there's a lot of, as social media and the internet will do, a lot of theories being bandied about, and the police are investigating, and we'll see where that goes. What I think we wanted to focus on was the response from students on this.
Yeah, they were great.
Who wants to? Katie, you want to sort of handle it?
Yeah. I sort of like Keith said, was shocked to show up to school on Monday and this is what's spray painted all over our parking lot. And just was focused on like, what can we do to support our students? So we tried to make sure that we had someone at the door welcoming them as they walked in. And as the day went on, I sort of got to thinking like, okay, this isn't going to be taken care of today. We're not going to remove this today. Though our school and our facilities manager worked really hard to get it set up so that it was taken care of quickly.
Right, and this was all spray painted. And,
right.
And how did the students react?
It was a mix of responses. I think some of them didn't realize what had happened because, like Keith said, they were so focused on just
first day of school.
Yeah,
I think we
like,
can all
let me get into the building, let me get going, and we had kids that were outraged, parents that were outraged, students that were deeply upset by it, and I think a lot of it is because as a school we really focus on being our own community and being this welcoming and inclusive community, and so for kids to arrive in that hateful speech to be what they're greeted with really, I think.
And I teach civics, so I kind of use that as an opportunity to, what is hate speech? What is a hate crime? What does this mean in our class, First Amendment, things like that. And so to provide them a space to talk about it, I was a little shocked because they were like, can we just move on, please? Like, these guys are stupid.
Right.
I was really surprised how resilient they were. Like, because I've been there for a long time, and there's been other incidences before in the past where a cloud of gloom and doom is over the school all day or for a couple days because of an incident, and this did not cause that. And I was kind of quite, I don't know, a little bit surprised, but also like, oh man, something like this doesn't really faze them. I don't know what that says about them.
Well, I guess that does bring up that question. Is it been because there's so much of this hate speech, whether it's online, social media, or Snapchat, whatever it may be, or now in a parking lot or spray painted on walls and things of that nature? Have have we grown immune to it? Have we just decided, you know what, we're not going to give them the time of day? You know, that's kind of where I think we're at.
Yeah, I mean, I was kind of giggling on the inside because a lot of the students were focused on like the poor grammar of some of his writing, and you know,
That's impressive.
well, like one of the things said LGBTQ plus equals Nazis, and they're like, did they fail history class? I mean, that doesn't make any sense. It's like they're all focused on like how it didn't make any sense, and they were just obviously not very smart people.
Right, and like I said, I think, you know, the response, and that was specifically, and we've got some pictures up on the screen now, about how the students responded, bringing out some chalk and saying, let's change the dynamic here. Talk about that.
So that was sort of my idea. It was like the one thing I thought we could do. We're a project-based learning school. It was like we have access to sidewalk chalk. So I had pulled it out, and our art teacher, Mary Robinette, was like, I've got kids in my first hour who would be like happy to help you. Like, are you okay if I offer them the opportunity to come up and help you? It's like, sure. So I'm out there and I said, you know, my plan is just to cover it. And they said, well, can we change it around? I said, you can do whatever you want. Like, I really want you to feel like you can sort of reclaim this space. And that's exactly what they did.
Right. I mean, we talk about the poor grammar and some of the things that were said, which, you know, not great, not positive in a way, but you can't ignore a swastika. I mean, that is something that is just, it has such meaning and such, you know, a hateful intent to it alone. It's not words, it's not anything you can interpret. So the fact that you guys went out and said, let's not, and it's spray paint, so you can't, you know, you have to wait till it's professionally removed, but to just say, we're going to get rid of this swastika, we're going to change it to something else. And what you turn it into like a flower, right? Mm-hmm. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So, sort of the absolute antithesis of what a swastika is.
Exactly.
You know? Right.
And how was local law enforcement reacted to this, to the reports?
They were there right away. Once they were called, they were there. They investigated. I know Congressman Slotkin spoke to our principal and spoke about federal authorities being involved. So, because it does reach the level of hate crime.
Right.
So the FBI, I believe, is also investigating. But I really don't know the extent of it. That's the Elissa heard.
Right, like I said, we'll see where the investigation takes things, and that's certainly something that, you know, we'll follow up on. But again, I think it's impressive that the students and you guys together said, you know, how do we respond to this in a way that makes sense? And so, you know, hats off to you guys for doing that.
Yeah, I think that's amazing.
Yeah,
I really do. I mean, it's sad that we've gotten to a point that we have to be like that, and survival, I guess. But
yeah, it's just the tribalism of our society right now.
Yeah.
Everything seems to be put in categories, and it's, you know, us and them.
And so, in terms of the graffiti, is it still there?
Yeah, it's gone this weekend, hopefully. That's the
Okay.
I've been told.
All right, you'll have it like professionally removed, right? Because I know you guys put this out, I think, on was it on Tuesday when you chalked it up, and then it rained that night?
Yeah. I came in the next morning, I was like, did it hit us again? Like, what happened?
But nonetheless, you know, again, a great job. And talk about FlexTech. It's a project-based school, like you said. So, you know, again, as educators, seeing this as an opportunity, you know, talk about project-based learning, how that is different than, say, traditional K through 12.
Well, like, our students take all the state mandated tests, SATs, MSTEP, things like that, but to pass my class, they don't take tests. They complete hands-on projects that require them to demonstrate mastery of the content through their project. So I've done like advertising campaigns where my students are creating advertisements for local businesses, and they get feedback, and then they work together through that process. I've done film festivals in my media class. You know, there's been, I'm just talking about my classes, but there's been like
we have a culinary arts program. It really is focused on kids sort of using these real world applications where it's not just, okay, let me memorize this material and then sort of spit it back to you on a test. It's let me get hands-on, get involved. We've had kids who have made like roller coasters to demonstrate like physics competencies.
Next semester I'll have market day where kids get to start their own businesses. They get real seed money. They do a Shark Tank pitch. Depending on how well that pitch goes, they get real money. They get a couple weeks to, you know, supply themselves, get ready, and then we have a grand opening, and they have to try to make a profit and pay that money back.
Well, very cool stuff.
Yeah.
And as Katy said, not everybody learns the same way, and textbook isn't always the best way for certain individuals to learn stuff. More hands-on, if your kid grew up playing with Legos and building stuff like that, chances are they're not a bookworm.
But then we should point out again, like Keith said, you still got to pass all the educational standards that the state of Michigan provides.
Absolutely. And the teachers, I would say FlexTech teachers are, they're one of a kind because they kind of do two jobs in one. So where they're advisors, because we all get advisory as well. We have it's a homeroom, but it's more than that. I have kids from freshman year till senior year, every day of the week, where I help them get through high school. So we do a totally different job at FlexTech, I think, than what you would see at a traditional high school.
Yeah.
And
Absolutely.
they graduate with us with a high school diploma.
Yeah.
Right. Absolutely. So, again, congratulations. Congratulations is not a word, but really, hats off to you, whatever the phrase you want to use, about taking this overtly negative thing and turning it into a learning moment and a positive. Yeah, absolutely.
Thanks so much.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you so much.
Thanks for having us.
All right, absolutely. And again, Keith Jones, FlexTech High School Social Studies Instructor, and Katy Urban, School Social Worker. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you very
All right,
much.
have a great day.
Last night in our trivia question, brought to you by Firehouse Doors, OG sponsors, we did have a prize up for grabs. Firehouse Doors, of course, serving Livingston County for over 25 years with unparalleled service and products. According to a recent survey of women, Susan, were you in this survey? 25%, or 1 in 4, said they never go to the gym without this. We wanted to know what it is, and our friends at Firehouse Stores giving us a gift card from DQ, getting in that blizzard before the blizzards hit us.
Shut up.
Gosh, don't say
We're going to have
that.
great weather this weekend, so it doesn't really matter. So some great guesses. Lisa said a small towel. Bring your own little towel, wipe your own sweater, put it on the bench or the seat that somebody used before you because you don't want their germs.
Right, but the thing about that is that over a period of time, you are soaking up your and somebody else's sweat.
Yeah, that smells really
Towel
good
and
for the ride
it's
home.
kind of nasty.
I think a small towel for women is more just kind of blotting.
Right.
Or if you're a guy, you tuck it in your shorts like you're the starting quarterback. That's
Okay.
Those are the gym bros.
Okay, Bradshaw.
Suzanne said a partner, a workout buddy. That's inspiration. Nancy said tennis shoes. Might want to have the right footwear.
Well,
I have seen people with flip flops or slides
Yeah,
on, and you're like,
right.
not really.
platform
Gone.
shoes ready to disco.
There you go. Linda said deodorant, and we thank those people. We hope it's more than
Yes.
25%
Yeah, well.
that bring deodorant.
Do they use the deodorant? Is the question.
No, I just
I've
got
got it. Yeah.
Terry said Gatorade. Somebody else saying water bottle or water. Lip balm.
Yeah,
You
that's
gotta have the
important.
lips looking good while you're working
My
out.
first instinct was to say earbuds for music or whatever.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that
Or
that's,
listen to podcasts.
Yes, listen to the podcast
Sure.
while you're working out.
Right.
We'll pump you up. Nancy said lotion. Well, you don't want dry skin. while
Well,
you're working
no,
out.
of course not. Why? What were you thinking?
If you asked me that question, you probably were thinking the same thing.
Or are you thinking of Silence of the Lambs, where he's lowering the lotion down into the
Oh no! I didn't go there, but you did.
It uses the moisturizer on its skin.
Let's just get to the right answer and congratulate Val Baldus. She was the first one to get the correct answer. which
Nice,
was
congratulations.
have makeup on.
Yeah.
Make sure they have makeup on. You gotta look good when you go to the gym.
Susan, is that something you feel is a requirement, or?
Well, I think that's kind of an exaggeration. I think maybe, a little bit of lipstick and just so you don't look like a zombie
Like you just
walking
woke up.
into the gym.
Yeah.
Especially if you're single. It's a good pickup place, so you don't want to look horrible.
So
Get it?
congratulations
Pickup?
to Val. She's getting the gift card for DQ, courtesy of Firehouse Stores, serving Livingston County for over 25 years with unparalleled service and products. If you or somebody you know has garage door issues, call our friends at Firehouse Doors. All right, are we next?
Yes. We are next.
We are next with
we're
what's to
nexting,
come
all right.
toward the end of the month.
Yeah, we want to thank everyone that showed up last Sunday at Tap-Ins in Genoa Township. Of course, had the back-to-school bash for the Walk to End Alzheimer's, and we are still looking for folks to join Team Got It Going On. So go to mikeandjohnpodcast.com, and of course, you'll find the link there to sign up. And for those that make a financial contribution and join Team Got It Going On, you could win this snazzy. I'm using snazzy again.
It is snazzy.
I think it's snazzy.
It's nice.
I guess not all of us think it's very snazzy.
What is this, 1935? Hey, that's a pretty snazzy shirt you
Maybe we should
have.
get one that says 23 Skidoo on.
So what are you guys laughing about?
John describing our Team Got It Going On shirts as snazzy.
Well, snazz, spiffy.
Oh, spiffy. Wow. Something you might hear on Leave It to Beaver.
Spiffy and snazzy.
My grandmother used to say I look spiffy.
Ah, okay.
He's all spiffed up for that date.
Well, theoretically.
Borrowed Dad's Plymouth. Or DeSoto.
Or the DeSoto,
Yeah. All right. So we'll let you know with Rich Perlberg.
Damn good
of course.
car.
Yeah, well, you know.
Why my oldest Sal ran great. Wasn't that the line from Archie Bunker?
Sal.
I think
It
you're
was,
right,
yeah.
So,
All right. So we're talking Mike Rogers today. Mr. Rogers.
Is that what we're doing?
goes-
I'm getting
Yeah.
so mixed up. I was
Well-
just writing my column for you guys. I was
Yeah.
thinking about Michigan football, so we got to talk about the other context.
I mean, there is, yeah, that's true. There is a lot to talk about, but yeah, there was a story earlier this week. Associated Press, ran a story quoting 3 people close to Rogers, and they didn't identify him, who said he's going to make the announcement. They said the next few days. Now it's been a few
Any day
days, but
now, yeah.
just still waiting.
Now you guys being newsies, you've got
crappy. Good
newsies, spiffy news guys, snazzy and spiffy
That's right.
in the news department.
You got your knickers and your little short brimmed hat on.
Your scoop.
Extra.
I got my cigar in my mouth and my fedora.
And your typewriter right next to you.
Right.
So
Typewriter, that's right.
when
Real
these
journalist
stories
type.
come out that people close to the person say
they're
they're going
playing
to, is
They're
that
planted. I mean, obviously they're planted because if it had been a real source or an anonymous source, they would have contacted the Rogers campaign. There's no indication in the story that anybody called up Mike Rogers and said, "Are you running?" So it was planted by the Mike Rogers camp. Okay,
all right?
it's really a dorky way.
Well,
to
now hold
cover
on. I'm going to go look at his Twitter page. I'm just going to refresh
He's
here.
on the
and-
Twitter.
Nope, still not an announcement there.
Not
So,
yet,
so we're still waiting.
So-
here's the real question about whether someone like Mike Rogers gets in. And now we saw that Peter Meyer, the former congressman from Grand Rapids, of course,
That's
connected
right.
to the Meyer
That's
family, says he may jump in. My question to you is this: I mean, for someone like Mike Rogers, I don't think Mike Rogers or Peter Meyer will have any problem getting money. That's not going to be the issue. They certainly have.
They will not be on the corner with their hat out.
Exactly.
No.
Although when you shop at Meijer, the eggs are going to be a lot more expensive.
One-stop shopping. Okay.
So money's not going to be an issue, and name recognition to a variable degree not going to be an issue. I mean, Mike Rogers doesn't live in Michigan anymore; he'd have to move back, and he hasn't necessarily been in the national spotlight. But nonetheless, he has some name recognition. Peter Meyer, enough said. My question to you is. I think we brought this up previously. We talked about this. I am not convinced that a Mike Rogers or a Peter Meyer can get through the primary process.
I know. I see that going out there, and there's logic to that statement because the message you have to send in the primary is totally different than the message in November. And I think Mike can transcend that because, for one, you're assuming that I assume you're assuming that there's a singular mega-back candidate who will run in the Republican primary. But my guess is there'll be several, just like the governor's race. There were several, and they split it up. Second, Mike, it's really hard to describe Mike as a liberal. I mean, he's criticized Trump, but
Well, no, it'd be wrong to call him a liberal.
Yeah, I mean, and you look at stuff that's going. Peter Meyer, if you looked at the story about him forming an exploratory committee, Meyer tried to show a backbone, but I was really disappointed in his announcement, or not so much announcement. He said, "Hey, somebody's got to stop this weaponizing of the government." That's a mega phrase,
Well,
and he's a guy who voted for the impeachment, so he's against I mean, talk about weaponizing the government. He tried to impeach the president.
Right. I think that alone.
They twist themselves into corkscrews sometimes.
I think that alone. I mean, I don't think Peter Meyer. I mean, he lost his congressional seat because he voted to impeach
Exactly.
Trump. And we should point out this: he lost in the primary that year to John Gibbs in 2022.
Who's a household name of reasonableness.
Right. And then what happened? A Democrat, Hillary Scholten, came in and took that seat for the very first time.
But it was a refigured seat, so it wasn't a total upset. But Meyer would have had a much better chance.
Right.
Exactly.
Right. So nonetheless,
Well, what do you think the chances of a Mike Rogers victory in this? Let's just say it
in
goes
the primary,
down.
I think he wins the primary. I think if he runs the November race, I mean, we're a long ways away from that. We're well over a year away. And if Trump is on the ballot, that changes the dynamics completely, I think. But Mike's got as good a chance as anybody, and so does Elissa. To me, it'd be perhaps the number one Senate race in the country.
So, and I agree that, I mean, yes, it would be, in terms of money, it will just, if it was those two, if it was Rogers and Slotkin, I mean, money will just pour in from all corners.
You could solve the national debt for 100 countries with what will be spent on that race.
But we won't.
Yeah, very true. So my question is, Mike Rogers. I mean, look,
What is your question?
I covered it for the entirety of his congressional career, representing the 8th District, which is, all of Livingston County and most of what is now the 7th District. And yeah, very adept politician. But as it's been pointed out, he was a very adept politician in a very Republican-friendly district. It's a whole different ballgame to run on a statewide ticket, especially when he is going, and that the Democrats are going to do this. They're going to hammer him on issues like abortion, and he's going, and Trump. And so I'm just saying, even if he gets through the primary, I think the general it's like it's a bit of a different ball field.
Having interviewed him before, I think Mike Rogers knows how to answer those questions in a very politician-like way.
Well,
so
I do too.
He's smooth that way. You can never get the real answer out of him, and many politicians are like that. It's like you ask them one question, and they just jump into whatever they want you to hear.
I understand that, but just earlier this year, I think in March, he was on Off the Record WKAR in Lansing, and they asked him that very question. Tim Skubic asked him that very question about abortion and Prop 3, and he really, if you watch his answer on that, he kind of hemmed and hawed his way through it. He didn't really want to say. He said, "I'm pro-life," but then they kept saying, "But what about Prop 3, this proposition that passed very overwhelmingly in Michigan?" And finally, at the end, he said, "Well, I probably would have voted against it, but I couldn't because I was living in Florida." It wasn't very smooth. Now, no doubt,
of course, but you gotta wonder about what voters is that going to influence. I mean, what person who was going to vote for Slotkin would change their mind because of Rogers' opinion on abortion? You've got to look at that. It's a question of getting the base out. And that's why I think the Trump candidacy is a bigger issue, because if Trump is on the ballot, then you're going to get a turnout. You're going to get a great Republican turnout, and Mike will have to walk a thin line between supporting his party's candidate for president and the fact that he's sharply criticized you in the past. Right. I think that'll be a bigger issue.
I have no doubt that you're right on that.
He could always just say, "I never said that." It was AI.
It's hard to do that anymore. But I hopefully, and this may be me looking for unicorns, but I'm hopeful that a Slotkin-Rogers race, and hold on to your hats on this one, could be a race settled on the issues.
What? What? Issues?
I know.
They're both campaigners. Moderates. I mean, they're both moderates within their parties. Let's put it that way. They're both more to the center than they are to the extreme. How about that?
No, you're right. They're reasonable people.
Yeah.
Okay. And they're knowledgeable people, and they can talk very knowledgeably on issues that they disagree on. Even while they both agree in a strong foreign policy. They just have some differences on how to get there.
Right.
Those are the types of things we should be paying attention to. And I'm hopeful they will be. I can't see them getting into a mudslinging contest. No?
Oh, I don't know. That's politics.
I know. I told you I'm a little bit. Wait a minute. There's my unicorn out there. I'm going to go back home.
I thought. Well, we haven't solved anything as usual.
Yes.
All right. Mission accomplished.
Why start now?
Well, we've got over a year to talk about this. It'll be really disappointing if Rogers doesn't run. I'm looking forward to the race. But
Right. You talk about if Trump's on the ticket. I mean, and there's the possibility he may not be on the ticket.
he'll be on it.
But
He'll be on it, even if he's in a jail cell, he'll still be on the
well,
ticket. and
I
he'll
guess I
still
was
be
saying,
the
even
number
if
one
his
candidate.
name isn't on the ballot, I think he will still be the central question.
yeah, he was. Who was the biggest name on the last Republican debate? The guy who wasn't in the room. So here, let me put my nerd hat on for just a
Oh,
minute.
I thought you already had it on.
Let me pull it down. Pull the ear flaps down.
There you go. Is joining us.
What a vision, huh? Try to get that one out of your mind. Do you find it at all as interesting as I do that the number of representatives that Livingston County has in Congress is to what a play they have in national politics? You got Rogers, you got Slotkin, Debbie Stabenow, Bob Carr ran for the U.S. Senate, Dick Chrysler was governor, or a governor candidate, he wasn't governor. Even a guy named Jim Dunn ran for the U.S. Senate. I don't know of any other district that has as much national political or big-time political appeal that this Livingston County district has.
Well, the districts that have included Livingston County through the years, because it's changed with redistricting.
Well, yeah.
But largely it's mid.
Who has the nerd hat on now?
It's mid-central Michigan, which is, is purplish in that sense. So it can go either way. So I guess through the years, what you've seen are people who have been able to sort of ride that divide.
And use it, I guess, as hopefully as an attempted launching pad to higher office. I mean, Stabenow is the current U.S. Senator, and she's going to be replaced by perhaps either Slotkin or Rogers, who were former congressmen, just like Stabenow. From Livingston, they weren't from Livingston County, but they represented Livingston County.
Right.
I just think it's unusual. I can't think of another.
We need to find more local jobs then for people. Have them get into other careers.
We have some sort of weird job training program going on here.
I know. Anyway, Mike and Elissa, I think is a race to look forward to. The only downside will be the tremendous amount of money that's going to be spent on it. That's a bad thing.
Yeah.
You gotta be able to raise huge funds.
Could be the next reality series.
Unless you get into the merchandise game.
Yeah, there you go.
Oh, by the way, later on, you may get me as a sponsor for political bumper stickers.
Stickers and signs.
If you have like a two-sided tent, on one side it's Slotkin, the other side it's Rogers.
Sure.
Oh, round back.
Yep.
Oh, you want to round back, yeah.
Well, who's on the right, who's on the left? That's all you got to do to figure out the side to buy your gear from. All right, Rich, we'll do it again next time. Thanks for joining us today. The Less You Know with Rich Perlberg.
Bye.
See you guys.
So Orchard's Children's Services has a little Aiden is our newest child we're hoping to find a future home for.
That's right. Aiden, 11 years old, described as outgoing, likes to joke around, loves to read, especially books like Diary of a Wimpy Kid, Animorphs books, and Goosebumps. He loves monster trucks. He loves to spend time making ramps and doing cool tricks with his monster truck toys. He hopes to one day go to a skate park and take his monster trucks there to do all kinds of tricks. He loves to swim, and he's pretty good at rock climbing as well. So Aiden, 11 years old, this week's Orchard's Children's Services Child of the Week. And of course, if you want to learn more about Aiden, you can go online, orchards.org, or any of the kids that they're trying to find a forever home for. So if you just have questions, or you think maybe you've got room in your home or your heart for somebody like Aiden, again, orchards.org for more information.
And, as I know we're going to have a great weekend. We already had a little taste of fall and some of those storms and such. And if your vehicle is not quite ready for the upcoming season, now's the time to schedule that appointment with our friends at Murphy's Family Auto. They can take care of you, whether it's an electrical issue, a mechanical issue. You want to get things ready for the upcoming winter. You can see them today. Tell them Mike and John sent you, and you'll get a 5% discount. How about that? Give them a call today. 517-552-3040. That's Murphy's Family Auto. Your car knows.
Oh, it knows.
It knows more than you really... if your car could
Probably.
talk, do you know how many secrets would be revealed?
I don't know. Oh God!
You know how you blame that stain on the carpet on the kids?
I'm sorry. I'd have to kill my car. I'm sorry.
All those candy wrappers that are stuck in the seat, you blamed on somebody else?
As I drive it into a pond. Shh, it's okay. It's okay.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Hey, soon to come, we're going to have Susan's entertainment moment. We're going to talk about an upcoming movie, aren't we?
Yeah, and I'm going to find out if either of you are Swifties.
Yeah. Well.
It's spiffy and snazzy, but Swifty?
I don't know. I think we should take that moment now.
We should
I think we should take that moment now.
We're doing that now.
Yeah. Of course, our entertainment break brought to you by the Dio. Looking for a unique night out? Look no further than the Dio Dining and Entertainment, Livingston County's multi-award-winning dinner theater. Whether it's date night or the celebration of a special event, the Dio offers an unforgettable night of food and live Broadway-style entertainment that is sure to earn you a standing ovation. Visit diotheater.com for tickets and show information. All right, so...
Taylor Swift's got a movie coming out.
Spell it.
And it's not where she plays an actress, right?
No, it is
Or she's
actually
an
her Eras concert tour that is on right now. I have learned way too much about Taylor Swift in the last 24 hours from my daughter. My daughter is a Swiftie. Are you a Swiftie?
I have to tell you this. I don't own any Taylor Swift
He's
CDs.
a Mandy. What are you? A Manilow?
Manilow.
What do they call those? The Barry Manilow fans?
I love Barry Manilow too.
That was a great show.
Yeah.
But it's funny you mentioned Barry Manilow because on the way home we were talking because we went with some friends, and on the way home we were like, what other concerts would you like to see? And I thought, you know what? Honest to God, I would not mind seeing a Taylor Swift concert. They look to be very entertaining.
Yeah, so Taylor Swift, I liked her when she first began in the country genre. She was very young, 15 years old, 16 when her first album came out. But what I am so respectful of is she writes every single song, whether it's in the hip hop, the country, whatever. So that is what I find so very, very talented. She's truly is amazing.
I think she's probably surpassed Debbie Gibson in that youngest to have written, sung, performed, and gotten on the charts with top 10 hits.
Yeah, absolutely. So the Eras tour is she's singing all of her albums in different eras, so that's kind of cool too that she's done that. So that is coming to film at the theaters in October.
Yeah, I'd read a little bit about this, and I heard that, the film is a little over 2.5 hours, but the usual concerts are like 3.5 hours.
So it is a little condensed version of it. But
for those who didn't want to fork out the millions of dollars to get tickets to see Taylor Swift or couldn't get tickets, this would be a way to check out the show.
Absolutely.
Or to relive it.
And like for people like me, my daughter is definitely a Swiftie. She's been telling me all this stuff about the signals that she gives her fans and 121 days till each album is released and all this. It's amazing. You need to check it out.
So if you're a Swiftie and she's doing something on the stage, you're picking up on it, but somebody who's not a Swiftie.
There's signs, or she'll send out a little video, and she'll point her head to like numbers on a clock to when her next thing's coming out.
Right now, did you see the thing? One of the security guards at one of her dates. I forgot where it was in the U.S., but he was standing in front of the stage and he was like singing to the songs, and somebody did some TikToks on it and it went viral. But then it turned out that he totally planned it that way, had people take these videos of him so he could monetize the TikTok. And he ended up losing his job.
Really?
Yeah, but he made money, didn't he? He's probably getting paid a lot more for that than he did being a security guard.
It's entirely possible, but yeah, it's kind of some crazy stuff. And the movie, I guess, October 13th.
Yes.
Is what they're saying.
And I think AMC is the one that's starting it, but they are going to share it with other theaters. So
that's nice.
Yeah. My daughter already has her tickets. They went on sale at 8 a.m. yesterday, and she got hers at 9.
That's why the internet was so slow yesterday.
That is why. Now, is she camped out in front of the theater now? It's at her tent.
Does Taylor say she's got to have a clothing line, right?
If
not, I would be
I'm not sure. I don't.
Maybe she doesn't have time for that.
Yeah.
But I would think she would have.
And she's like,
I know, like Carrie Underwood and Miranda Lambert do. I'm not sure.
Interesting.
I have one of her T-shirts on now.
John's looking up Taylor Swift panties right now. We should probably welcome JD into the studio.
There is the Taylor Swift official store.
Yeah. So you can get Swift.
But it's all like
it's
concert merch. Yeah,
yeah.
that's what it is.
Okay, so it's not exactly like fashion design.
Yeah.
That's a fashion fellow.
What would Taylor wear? Well, it's exactly what JD's wearing for JD's Toshback Trivia.
yeah.
JD with us.
So it's called the Eras Tour because of all the different eras, but some people actually call it, this is what I found interesting, the Errors Tour, because she has like a list of things that have happened like at each performance. One, a bug flew in her mouth, and another, like the microphone didn't work. So some people are calling it the Errors Tour.
I think it happens at every tour.
She's laughing all the way to the bank.
Thought that was kind of funny.
I mean, I saw something that every venue that she's played, she is like a mini economic boost to that area's economy.
Oh, I would
like
imagine.
Pumping in literally like $10 million to each.
It's almost like the
You
Mike
know.
and John podcast.
Oh,
is
yeah, it's
live
the same.
somewhere.
Absolutely.
It's
Like
I
an
went-
economic
Yeah.
boom.
Cougars playing at the American Legion. I mean, it's the same kind of
A
thing.
few less zeros, but you know, nonetheless.
You know, we welcome Jeff in. You guys just went off on your Swiftville.
Hi,
Jeff,
Jeff.
welcome.
Hello.
Yes.
Did you turn Jeff's microphone off?
Did you?
I didn't know.
All right, there you go.
Now,
All right.
Now Jeff can join.
now we're on.
Yeah.
Well, good morning.
What's our topic today?
This will be maybe a little more challenging because we're not talking about movies. It is. It's fall. It's the start of college football.
Okay.
I know it's not a toss back, but we're going to talk about college football.
That's okay.
All right. Michigan, Ohio State,
No, that's not okay.
Alabama, Notre Dame, Texas, and Oklahoma are the win total leaders in college football. Michigan has the most of all. How many wins does Michigan actually have?
Like over the course of the
In
history
their
of the
entire
team. Yeah.
existence
Right. They
of
had a long time
college
to get
football.
these wins.
So, are they at 989, 953, 938, 936? Wins in college football.
Put that phone down.
I was looking on the Taylor Swift store.
938.
989.
Was there a 959 in there?
Nope.
Oh.
953,
Yeah,
That's
I'll take
the
that
one.
one. Yeah, I'll take that one.
989.
Huh?
Oh, look
about
at
that?
you.
Yeah, they were tied into with they bypassed their past Notre Dame in the 80s, and then luckily Notre Dame got bad for a while. So good.
So they have a chance to really go to over 1,000 here
This season.
This season, but do you count the 3 games without their head coach?
Yes.
Yes.
They still count
They
that.
would
They
count
still
that.
count
Okay,
that.
yeah.
All right.
All right. So Michigan State plays Central Michigan, and we make this out like Central Michigan wins with frequency. They have played 11 times. How many times has Central Michigan actually beaten Michigan State in football? Is it 2, 3, 4, or 5 times?
Oh my God.
2.
3.
I'll say 4.
3 times.
Okay. All
Cougar.
right. All right.
All right.
Look at Cougar.
Fire up, Cougar.
Fire up,
chips. All right. Western Michigan is one of the last non-Power 5 football teams to be selected to a New Year's Eve or New Year's Day bowl game.
Right.
They played Wisconsin January of 2017. What bowl game did they play in? Was it the Sugar, the Cotton, Fiesta, or Orange Bowl? Literally 5 years ago. They were rowing the boat.
Yeah.
And then the boat rowed all the way to Minnesota.
Yes, he did. All by himself.
Well,
So you got
guys are
Fiesta,
leaving.
Sugar,
Sugar, Cotton,
Con.
Fiesta, or Orange?
I'm going to say Cotton.
I think it's the Fiesta Bowl.
I think it was the Cotton Bowl.
It is the Cotton Bowl.
Yeah.
There
Thought
in
it was the Cotton
Texas.
Bowl, yeah.
All right. Eastern Michigan had a phenomenal season last year, culminating in an Idaho Potato Bowl bowl win.
Yeah.
Here would be a replica Idaho Potato Bowl championship ring.
Look at that.
Should we zoom in on this sucker?
Yeah. 3 head coaches lost their jobs last year after having lost to Eastern Michigan, including Herm Edwards at Arizona State. How many years between bowl games was it for Eastern Michigan to win a game? Was it a 5-year gap, a 15-year gap, a 25-year gap, or a 35-year gap between bowl victories?
Well,
I'm going to say 25.
15.
35.
35.
I don't recall hearing too many references to EMU winning a bowl game, let alone getting to a bowl game.
Their
winning
last
a bowl game.
victory had been in 1987 in the California Raisin Bowl.
Oh yeah,
Against the exact same team they beat in the Idaho Potato Bowl.
wow. The raisin and potato. Those are their bowl
Yeah, see,
victories.
I was at Eastern in '87. I kind of remember that.
You kind of remember.
Kind of.
Yeah, you know.
Well,
Dude, I kind of remember that.
Yeah.
I could remember going to watch it. That was a big deal. Yep.
All right, so
Perfect.
it was 2, 2, and 1. So these two are tied, right?
They are.
Yeah.
Look at you with the math. That's impressive for you.
So, since 1973, we're starting year 51 now, the Division II National Championship has been won by a team from the state of Michigan. How many times in the last 50 years? Obviously, the range would be from 0 to 50.
Right.
But you know of some of them. So how many?
Division 2?
Division II.
I'll say 7.
Go 8. The odds. I don't know this. I'm just saying the odds are. You know, but you do you.
Oh my gosh, I don't even know.
Go for exact number then.
9.
I'm like, the only number not to pick would be 9.
What is it?
It's 8.
Oh my god!
It's Central, Northern, Grand Valley, of course, and now the last 2 have been Ferris State.
Grand Valley, of course.
Grand Valley, of course.
Grand Valley, of
You
course.
keep
So
on-
we're still in a tie. That's
keep up on
okay.
Division
They're
2.
still in a tie.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's
Yeah,
okay.
the girl is still in the
Yeah.
running. Take that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I could
Right.
make
He
make
doesn't have
something
another
up,
question.
but I
That's
only
okay.
brought this week's questions with me.
That's okay. Cindy Bear. Reference the last week.
Hey, boo boo.
All right, we can end it a tie. It's okay.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah, that's
preseason.
okay.
It's all right.
We'll be good with a
that.
tie.
Yeah, I guess
And
so.
John, that ring looks very
It does,
nice on
doesn't
you.
it? Though I think it's.
John's going to be bouncing during the next appearance by Susan.
Yeah. I like that.
He's a
I
bouncer.
guess I'll give it back.
I was expecting, as a season ticket holder, I was expecting a Packer ring like these.
Wow.
As
Okay.
a shareholder of the Packers, this is a Super Bowl 45 ring.
Oh.
This is a season ticket holder ring.
Oh
JD
yeah.
with, JD with the bling.
Hold on now. If we're gonna
Oh, boy.
show off keychain stuff,
Oh no!
I
This is
have
it's
a
Star Trek.
Verger's cap. So there you go, huh?
And live from Nerdville.
All right then.
Well, la-ti-da.
All right, JD, have a great holiday
guys too.
weekend.
Yes,
As
you
well.
too.
We'll do it again next time.
Say hi to my daughter out there.
I have the ASU. grad.
All right.
Perfect. Thanks.
Excellent. All right.
Thank
Thanks a lot, JD.
you.
It's time for a quick look at this week in history. In 1842, blacksmith Micah Rugg was granted the first patent for nuts and bolts.
Oh.
Thank you, Micah Rugg.
Nuts.
We couldn't keep anything held
Thank
together
you.
if it weren't for you.
That's right.
And bolts.
Yeah.
I mean, you could do one.
They'd be like, yeah, just put this
I-
through there.
I don't know.
Hope it stays
Hey,
in.
this kind of jiggles around in here. We need something to tie this thing down.
1886, chop suey was invented in New York City. You
New
can see-
York
There
City?
you go.
Oh, wrong
By a
thing.
visiting Chinese ambassador.
Yeah.
Li Hung Chang's
Uh-huh.
chef was the person responsible for chop suey. So on this week, during this week in 1995, the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame and Museum opened in Cleveland. A lot of people questioned that.
Total acceptance.
City argued to be was to be the birthplace of rock, beginning in the rooms of radio station WMMS, where Alan Freed coined the phrase rock and roll in the 1950s, and he took a few bucks for that.
And went to jail.
Yeah, he went to jail for getting paid to play rock and roll records by the record promoters. That's why the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame is there.
Have you been there?
Yes,
To the Rock and Roll?
I actually have. Yeah.
I have too. I highly recommend it.
I think so.
Yeah.
No, for sure. I think it's.
I've been to a Hard Rock Cafe, which is darn near the same thing.
Those are good too. I like those.
They have better food there.
Yes.
It was on this week in 1996. An expedition to raise part of the Titanic failed because they used nylon lines to raise a part of the hull, and they snapped.
Yeah. Gonna raise the Titanic with
Nylon.
some nylon lines.
See, and I know right now you're envisioning fishing line, but it probably was a little thicker than that.
I was just picturing, like pantyhose.
Yeah. Oh, well. Okay.
We raised the Titanic with pantyhose. Rose, are you down there?
I'm thinking of the excellent, totally classic movie Airport 77.
Oh, totally.
Where they tried to lift the sunken Boeing 747 using balloons. It didn't work.
Didn't quite make it.
Yes.
And finally, this week in 1998, Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone, the first of the Harry Potter series,
Yeah, do anything?
was released. I think
Make any bucks or?
they should probably make a movie or two.
Maybe they should.
It's just an idea. But can you believe it was 1998?
I think I just saw the other day, like Rupert Grint, who played Ron Weasley.
Yeah.
He's 35 years old. So, and they're cute little kids.
Not so much anymore.
Yeah,
They should have a reunion at Hogwarts.
Yeah.
That would be the Harry Potter reunion. What are you doing now with all that magic?
Why is your wand big?
That's that magic working out for you.
Opus Erectus.
What was that game we used to play in school? You still playing Quidditch?
Yeah.
Are you?
Yeah, okay.
All right. That's your 2-cent history lesson for this week.
What a lesson
in
it was.
history.
Yes.
All right, I think it's time to close things out.
It is? We got to shut the door?
Yeah. Time to
Shut the front door?
shut the front door.
Front door.
Yeah.
All right. Are we going to get the last word from Bonnie
think
this
so,
week?
yeah.
Now, those of you that were with us last week and we tried to get a hold of Bonnie and she didn't answer.
Right.
She did call me later and apologized and said she was distracted. It wasn't by babysitting the kids or the dog or anything like that. It was by a family member.
Right.
She was distracted.
We'll see.
Yeah.
Now, who's distracted by a family member? That's something going right here,
Mike
guys.
was saying that you had called, and last week after
I
we
did.
had called.
Yeah.
Right. I'm sorry.
That's okay.
That's all right. You just didn't have to think up another last word for the last word with Bonnie Runyon.
Hey, I did like your word that you guys come up with, whisper.
Yeah.
Today's world is awesome. The word today is give.
Give.
Oh, I thought it was awesome. I thought it literally was awesome.
No, the world is awesome.
Oh, I
so
see.
give is
Okay.
the word.
Give.
No, give love, give directions, give help. When they got it coming, give it to them. and the most important one,
Give peace a chance.
never give up.
Never
Okay.
give up.
I like that.
All right.
All right. Words to live by with Bonnie Runyon, our last word of the show. We appreciate it, Bonnie.
Yes.
I appreciate you all.
Yeah.
All right. Have a great week, Bonnie.
You too. Bye.
All right, bye-bye. All right, so Bonnie Runyon, of course, with the final word. And that's it for us. We'll be back next week, and I believe we'll be doing a little improv.
We will.
Yeah.
We will.
I thought we did that every week.
Pretty much.
No, this is
not.
thoroughly scripted.
It's kind of like when I
and
get the map of how things
as,
go. It's
as
like,
you can tell,
that's not where we're going.
rehearsed this is. Yes, I believe we'll be
Yes.
joined by Christian Labar from the CTH
Christian is
Improv
funny.
Group. So,
We're looking forward to that.
yeah, somebody has to be funny around here.
That's right.
All right. So, that's it for us. We'll talk to you next week.
You've been giggling with Mike and John. Tune in next time and giggle on.